Welcome everybody to episode 192 of the Dumb Marks podcast, the best wrestling podcast in the business. Fuck you, Meltzer, and fuck you, Busted Open. Today, I am your host today, Donald. The master of the fast forward button, and the wrestling fan that hates wrestling. Gentlemen, how's it going?
It's a lot of fuck yous to start the show.
Oh, of course. And I got a lot more for later too.
I got one for Steve coming.
You gotta fuck me for me. Like Chris said,
You coming, yeah.
You're like the sixth member of the Backstreet Boys. I want it that way. Look at you out there. Oh, tearing up my heart. Just standing outside on the street, grabbing air, singing to the Amazon delivery woman as she brings you your package.
Wait, unload your clip.
No. This ain't a fully automatic. This is semi-automatic. We're gonna pepper this in all throughout the show. We're coming in on this type of energy today. This is Kendrick and Drake type energy today. Okay, here, all right.
Man, you got that rally white on, boy.
Hey, this is my WrestleMania all whites. I'm good. Look, I'm getting my wear out of this $19 tracksuit or hoodie set. I'm getting my wear out of it. It ain't gonna be a one time and done. Now,
get your $20 worth, huh?
So for context, I had an all white affair with my family, and my family's all black. Get the jokes out. All right. Had all white affair.
No, yeah, all white affair. Like Diddy, like Diddy. No Diddy. Was it Diddy or no Diddy? No Diddy.
Hopefully no Diddy.
Had an all white event with my family, and I had to wear all white. So I had to wear something. I showed up in it. Didn't care. So yeah, I took some jokes the whole day. I was called a Jabberwocky. I was called Hell's Gate. I was called I got all the
Hell's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
This was down the whole time, right?
Oh, Heaven's Gate. I thought you said Hell's Gate.
Heaven's Gate, yeah, Hell's Gate. Heaven's Gate.
That was Undertaker's finisher.
The cult, yeah.
Yeah.
Said I drank the Kool-Aid, yeah, all that shit.
Jabberwocky is probably my favorite with the Backstreet Boys reference right underneath it. Those two are probably high up on my list.
And that was my brother. I was a little hot.
Yeah, look. Looking like Chris Brownstone and Stop the Orange 7. Look at you. We ain't talking wrestling. We're cracking jokes on Jason. Hold on. That's what we're doing.
I got like 4 more words before I sweat this out, and this turned into like a grass cutting suit. So
you serious?
Grass cutting.
I might wait tonight to see a buzz on it or something.
That's a Channing Tatum.
I don't know. Them grass stains start getting on that. It might look like a tie-dye sweatsuit or something after that.
Yeah, Marion, you got served a little Debbie cake. That's
God. Oh boy. So today's episode we'll bring you our Mount Rushmore and our mushes of the week. We also have Clash of the Castle predictions, and the game is a little bit of debate this. So for intro today, everybody saw what happened to Ricochet on Monday Night Raw, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I came up with this. Whenever wrestlers say that they're not renewing their contract, which way do you prefer them to go out as? Do you prefer them to go out as Ricochet, like completely written out the storyline and just off for 2 months until the contract expires? Or do you want them to be completely jobbed out like Moxley was during his time in WWE, just losing to everybody and then just get booted out? Or do you like the traditional way of them just writing out their storylines, then like at the end of a pay-per-view they lose, and then the next day they're gone?
Is this WWE specific? Because we seen
It's for everybody.
With AEW, they just let the contract end, and like Jeff Hardy, you can leave AEW. Your contract is up Friday morning, and Friday night you're showing up at Against All Odds for TNA.
It's your preference. Like, which way do you prefer?
The whole timetable comes into account here, right? Based on like how things are done now versus how they were done back in the day. Back in the day, you knew when somebody was leaving pretty much based on that jobber-esque run that they would have at the end, right? They put everybody over, wouldn't win a single match, nothing, right? Now with social media, all the dirt sheets, leaks, what's true, what's not true, everything under the sun, wrestlers themselves making announcements, trying to set the narrative right before either the company can develop a narrative or a certain wrestling journalist can develop a narrative, letting people know which way. I'm not mad that they wrote Ricochet off the way that they did in this situation. He didn't want to renew. He wasn't going to resign. Cool. We'll write you off whenever the contract ends. It ends. I don't. Is it sometime in July? I think.
Right? Yeah.
So, yeah. My only thing is though, the way that they did it, they left the door open. And I heard Bully Ray talking about this on Busted Open, and I know you said screw Busted Open and start the show, Donald. but what he brought up was a good point though, in that we know Samantha Irvin and Ricochet are engaged. They're a couple, right? We everybody knows that. Okay.
Yeah.
The entire run that he's been in WWE, she's been involved in one thing, and that was Logan Paul. Right? If you're going to write Ricochet off and he's done and he's gone and he's leaving, why do you include Samantha Irvin into the story now when there's no payoff to it? If Ricochet were to actually stay and come back based off of the whole scenario what they did on Monday night, her emotions, getting back in the ambulance and riding, like, now you got me invested in the man Ricochet. He don't need he could do a drop down, drop down leapfrog shoulder tackle and he'd be over. Like, you got me invested in the human being now. I'm connected based off of what happened. And like Bully said, you want to add on to it, have Braun come out every week now and walk right over to that announce booth section and just have Samantha there, just head down, total fear. And every week Braun just come over and lift her chin up with his finger and say, I did that to your fiance. I'm the guy that took him out. I'm this, I'm that. And then when Ricochet comes back after a couple weeks of that, holy shit, he's even more like the fucking pop is going to be insane, right? Like, Bully laid that out, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, why? If you like, you're Ricochet, you've been over based on moveset, right? But you haven't connected because Ricochet is not the greatest on the microphone. So, but this is the best story that they've given you. And you go out that way with granted, I get it. Like, if you're done, you're done. You want to bet on yourself, you want to advance, you want to try to, build that Ricochet name back up as hard as it was when you got brought into WWE. Cool. I got no problem with wrestlers wanting to do that. But now there's a seed of doubt. Is he really gone? Or is this just all part of the story? Because you bring him back after Braun doing that for 3 weeks. Whew, that's over Rover, baby. Over Rover.
Yeah, that's not a bad way. Have him come back and then have him lose his last match and then he'll be gone. With something like that.
Also, I was feeling he would come back and have another match or something. Still be involved in the storyline.
I felt like on Monday after, Jason, you had brought up a point a couple weeks ago that you were looking forward to a Braun, Ilya, and Ricochet triple threat. Just like after that on Monday, it's like damn. I was like, yeah, I thought that was going to be the payoff too at some point. It's just like, and now if we're not going to get that match, it's like I kind of feel like, we've been building towards this for a few weeks now, and just not going to get the payoff now.
Yeah,
you'll get a payoff in a sense. It'll be like Ilya defending the fallen comrade, right? The fallen friend.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be that, but
but just getting that like style, that triple threat style clash.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, right. Yeah. But you don't like there's certain moments in time when you have the potential to capitalize and make like the quote unquote white meat baby face, right? Like there's only certain moments where that happens in pro wrestling. In this particular instance, this is a chance to have that white meat baby face that everybody would be behind 1010% because of the story and the way that things have evolved. Like, so that was my thing. If you want to write them off, cool, I'm writing them off, but why add Samantha into the mix? Like, I completely agree with Bully on that. Like that whole thing to me was like, okay, like there's no payoff to her being there. Like, you can, if you're going to bring her in and have Braun bully her, well, if somebody else sticks up for her and it's not Ricochet, then it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no like, that was the only part that I didn't get as to why they did it. Maybe they did it to leave the door open and they're still in talks, and maybe minds will change and cooler heads will prevail and conversations will be had, or maybe they just chose to write them off and leave it as it is, and Ricochet will pop up somewhere else after July. Who knows?
And if he's written off, kudos for doing the job. You could have went out there and half-assed it. He sold everything and made
when he got lawn darted into the freaking truck and landed on his back on that concrete, hurt thud. I'm like, man. Yeah, this whole, so we've seen this nonstop since TKO came into the fold. We have no idea how contracts, when they're negotiated, how they're negotiated, and everything else, right? Like, we have no clue. Drew worked on a handshake deal for how many months?
Yeah.
Before he actually signed his deal. So, like, Gable was rumored to re-sign, but that didn't even come out as being official yet. Like, who knows at this point? So I'm just going to go based off of the product and what you give me on my screen. As Donald says, if it happened on TV, it happened for me. If it's not on TV, I'm not paying attention to it.
Exactly. Exactly. On screen is canon. Everything else is just talk.
That's the one thing I hate about being in the know. Then you know why people are getting written off, or you know something, you know they're getting written off, or you know it's going downhill from here. So
yeah, and I mean, since we've all watched wrestling as long as we have, like, I just after watching that, like, my mind went back to like, okay, if I'm a 10 or 12-year-old watching this, like, I'm devastated. Like, you know, if I'm 5 or 6, I may be crying right now watching this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this was, you know, Earthquake squashing Hogan and Hogan taken out on the stretcher, like, or you know what I mean? Like, this was, you have that type of moment, and to not get a payoff from it just seems like it's really a shitty thing to do because everybody wants to see a payoff now. I mean, the pop when Braun was taking Ilya out and had Ilya set up to spear him through the barricade, the pop when Ricochet jumped in and cleared out Braun, I don't think I've ever heard a pop that loud for Ricochet.
Nah, not since the NXT days.
So, yeah, it's crazy. And since you brought up the NXT days, I don't think there's a single person from that first ever NXT North American ladder match still with the company now.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Cole's gone. EC3's gone. Velveteen Dream's gone. Big Dano. What's
Lars, whatever.
Lars, yeah.
Lars Sullivan and then Ricochet. So all 6 men no longer with the company.
Times are changing.
Yeah. So, yep, just wanted you guys' thoughts about that and everything.
Nobody else gave thoughts. But Taquan, I'm sure Taquan's out there somewhere typing, Steve talks too much. Blah, blah, blah.
I prefer you get written off. It's better than just sitting out and catering for 2 months. Like, get written off.
If it was him, if I was the promoters, I'll be like, I'll still want him active.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm getting my money's worth for it.
But I wouldn't want you written off with time left. I want you written off with like a week left. You know.
And that's where I'll be like, yeah, that's why you're staying active until the day of the contract is up. Because again, as a promoter, I'm getting my money's worth.
Get your ass whooped on the last day.
Exactly.
It depends on the too. Like Jason, you brought up, if you're sitting in catering, what am I giving you a payoff for? You know, when your contract expires, you're going to sit in catering until that contract expires. But for somebody like Ricochet, it makes sense to put him in the storyline and write him off.
Yeah, like you look at like Dolph, like Dolph wasn't doing anything, so there's no reason to write him off. You just let it roll or grant him his release and let him walk out the door. Like, the speed title. I think the speed title thing was actually what made Ricochet want to leave.
I never put it in that.
Like, if I'm Ricochet and I'm putting that speed title tournament for these Twitter matches and concept, and this is the belt you give me, and so you're saying that your ceiling for me is in 3-minute matches, and that's all you see me being the champion of, then okay, I need to go elsewhere. Like, I got into this not arguing on Twitter, but a little back and forth with somebody, and I forget, I can pull back up the tweets, but it was like, if you don't, somebody was like, well, he should just be, content with happy to be there guy. And I'm like, who in any sport is just happy to be there?
Yeah.
Like, you get into it because you want to be champion, you want to be top dog, you want to be main event. Yeah, you want to compete and everything else. Like, if I'm just happy to be there, why am I even doing what I'm doing?
To me, the thing that I didn't understand with this whole speed title is, like, he's the champion. When he comes out, they advertise him as WWE Speed Champion, but we're not going to have the title on him when he comes out.
No belt.
Like, it made no sense. Like,
there it is, the classic squeeze. With the
just gotta chime in every week and just type that in, man.
Yeah. Hopefully you got the pod on in them ears while you're out there cutting that grass, making the yard look nice for Father's Day tomorrow. There, squeeze.
My brother's out there doing mine now.
I mean, Mars, it's almost to me like the new incarnation of the 24/7 championship. You know, just like the belt that no one's going to care about.
And then hold on, so wait, if I'm, like I said, if I'm Ricochet, you put that belt on me, that's what makes me want to leave. Okay. If I'm Andrade and I'm coming back into WWE, and that's the first belt you put on me is the speed belt, I'm thinking, why not re-sign and come back? People want to talk about AEW dropping the ball with people when they come over, and Lord knows we can run through that list, but you put the speed title on Andrade after you re-sign him?
It's one of those things of, I think that they just feel that they have their ceiling for people, and I don't think Andrade's ever going to be bigger than where he is. I think at this point it was just come back, be with your wife,
and that's that.
That's it. Yeah.
But he's a guy. He can be a guy.
He could be. Look at his NXT run.
You got to figure out a way to put him in. Because I think this LWO is killing everybody.
It's killing all the Latinos because they're just grouping them together.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Yeah, they could put him in something. Because trust me, the men's division in WWE is a snooze. In my opinion, it is a snooze.
And Mars, they had something with Santos and him and Legado. Like that's a story that I can buy in, that I can get behind, that I can watch. I have who I can root for and everything else. Like, but that's a feud that elevates both men. Like, to me, Legado should be a bigger deal. If you got Judgment Day on Raw, Legado could be that on SmackDown.
They're too busy fighting other Mexicans.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you got the bloodline.
You're going to group them together. You're going to fight LWO
forever.
Forever. That's
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bloodline's number one on SmackDown. They're not going to put LWO or anybody else over.
Or change it up. It up. Like you got Santos as the leader, but you got, I don't want to say it, but you got Scrubs and Jobbers as his underlings. Like, what they gonna do? Like, you got to give them something to do.
They should have never switched up the team. Like Delgado should have been
Delgado from NXT.
Cruz and Del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think that's one person.
Probably. Cruz and DJZ. I still call him DJZ.
My
eye. But yeah, that's it. All right. So let's get into our mushes and Mount Rushmores. What you guys want to start with this week?
You call it.
Okay. We'll start with Rushmores, Mount Rushmore. So we'll go around the horn. Chris.
I'm going to give it up to Ali and Trent Seven last night at TNA Against All Odds. Really good match. Enjoyed the multiple false finishes in there. Typical style of those two. If you like either of those as wrestlers, this is going to be a match that delivers for you.
Good match.
Was it overall a good show?
Parts. There was two parts.
Yeah, I don't think it was like their best home run effort, but there's definitely moments for sure. Yeah. The main event was overbooked as all hell, but that's to be expected when you got broken Matt Hardy in the main event with Moose. And like I said, Jeff Hardy came back last night. Tatum Paxley was Jordan Grace's opponent, so she went through the, what are they calling it? The prohibited portal. I think door. The PP pause, prohibited portal.
But what happened last night whenever her music hit and she came out?
Nothing. Like that was I got no problem with it being Tatum from the standpoint of how it will help elevate her on the NXT side, right? But for the TNA crowd, I don't like. That's where I was saying, like, you had
it wasn't a payoff.
Yeah,
it did nothing.
And then you got to be a person that watches both to realize there was story going into this.
Yeah. I mean, they covered like a video package from Battleground and everything, so you knew what happened as a quick recap. But yeah, it's like it made sense the way they did it.
Yeah,
but it just
the scale wasn't balanced.
Yeah.
No.
It was like we gave you Jordan Grace. We expect something of equal or greater.
Yeah. You could have went 9 different directions, and I think you would have got a bigger payoff. I enjoyed the match that they had. I'm not knocking the match itself. It was just from
having that moment, it just didn't deliver.
Yeah.
But then yesterday, the Clash of the Castle kickoff thing that they did, the first thing that Michael Cole asked AJ Styles was, now that it seems like there's a relationship between WWE and TNA, do you like where this is going and all that? And just so everybody's just like, oh, is AJ going to go to TNA? It's like,
everybody assuming.
I mean, AJ said he would like to go back and do something. Like, okay, book AJ and Josh Alexander now, sign it. Slammiversary. Like, what are we waiting for? If that's what we're going to do, because we booked the hypothetical NXT, TNA when worlds collide, but we left main roster people off. Now, if we're including main roster people, that opens up a whole different possibility of matchups that I would like to see. Whole different possibility of matchups that I would like to see. So,
can Ricochet sign with TNA for that one night?
Well, Ash by Elegance coming out in the Performance Center, you know, and being referred to as Ash by Elegance. We all know it's Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
Like, well, what looks like Dana Brooke, who knows? That you want to talk about before and after pictures that is this person the same? No, it's not the same person.
All right, Jason.
I gotta throw in. I'm gonna put up the Judgment Day. This whole story with Liv is keeping the ball afloat for me. Damien's run hasn't been all that great, but the storyline overall has been keeping me, invested. Plus, I want to see what happens if he loses. What happens with the group and how that plays out.
Were you upset because we got no payoff as far as like somebody showing up to the hotel room?
Who took the room key?
Nah,
well, we know Finn's
the room key, but
we got no payoff with Finn actually putting the key in the door, opening the door up, and walking into the room.
GTV will be back next week for that.
That could play. That could play the next week or play in the Clash tonight. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I get slow playing it, but I was kind of like, man, or at least leave me with that cliffhanger.
Because if it's happening in real time, it's not. I don't think it's plausible unless they're staying like next door.
What you mean? We saw that all the time in the 90s. Whenever,
yeah, it was kayfabe. We can believe that Undertaker could disappear and reappear across the room. So you can be in the ring 1 minute in the hotel the next scene.
Yeah, I think like when Rhea first went out, Judgment Day had their bumps, but now they're like fully back on course, back on the road again. Like the GPS went haywire for a minute, but we got into some cell service range and we're back on the highway of them clicking on all cylinders. I thought everybody was fantastic. When Dom slapped she gave me a room key, slapped it down, and Carlito was like, that's cool. And then Finn was like, not cool. Like, it was like, man, yeah, nah, that was Monday night was a good night for Judgment Day. I'm not mad with them being put up there. I thought everybody played its part. And man, you want to talk about somebody that's elevated their stock without having to wrestle, like Liv, with having a motivation besides, and I said this before, but besides just watch me, like her actually having a motivation and it being played out. And I know Donald says Dom's, top 3, not 1 or not 2 and 3. But man, character wise, Dom got to be up there as far as his character work, because my man has not missed since he started with Rhea, and his continuation with Liv is just making me like him even more.
And this shows why some talent should still be on screen when they're out injured.
Yeah,
just like just continue storyline with it. You don't need to just have them written off just to not do anything.
Yep,
we saw it with Britt in AEW
exactly,
when AEW first started. Like those vignettes and everything else, her and Reba Rebel, like, you know what I mean? That got Brett over as she was. So yeah, Judgment Day is not bad. My Mount Rushmore this week, I'm gonna put it in the terms of a singular word, and it'll be kind of an umbrella over multiple things, but they're all the same. I'm gonna go with confrontations. Okay, so Gable, Otis, the whole Alpha Academy stuff that they got going on. Sammy, tremendous stuff Monday night. Wednesday night, Swerve, Ospreay, face-to-face to end the show, grabbing the belt, putting it on his shoulder, Swerve leaning in. Yo, if you weren't my friend, anybody else, I'd put you in the grave. Last night, AJ and Cody, confrontation. I didn't need sold any more than what you've done with the fake retirement and Cody calling for an I quit. But AJ coming out there and cutting arguably his best promo he's ever cut in WWE last night.
That was good. That was very good.
Yeah. You quit WWE. Quit New Japan. You quit ROH. Hell, this guy started a company, and I was shocked when he said that. I'm like, oh shit, prohibited portal. Are they really going to say those 3 letters in WWE? No, they didn't. But we all know what he was talking about, right? You quit that, and how's the saying go? When the going gets tough, Cody gets going. I'm like, fuck, okay, you got me right back on AJ and Cody, but then you had Cody face to face with Solo. So just for me, this week was just all about confrontations. Like, I really enjoyed the stuff that I saw out of different stories, different people at different levels of the card, not necessarily all main event stuff. Like, yeah, I'm cool with confrontations and what we got this week from those types of confrontations.
Good. My Mount Rushmore, it's very quick. It was a little short segment, but it was Pat McAfee being the ring announcer for Samantha.
How great!
I mean, so it was so good. I mean, he needs to do that more often.
And then Drew tweeting out afterwards, I want to be announced as Big Bastard from Scotland. That one.
And then he say something about good looking Big Bastard from Scotland. And then whenever Finn came out and he was like from the bum ass Judgment Day.
With 2% body fat.
And then Finn just stared him down whenever he said that. It was like good old Pat McAfee. And I still believe in our hashtag, put the title on.
Put the strap on.
Put the strap on Pat. Yeah, because he still deserves that.
You said one quick segment. I thought it was them showing the Yes Boys in the stands.
Eating popcorn.
I'm going to be truthful, man. I forgot about those guys. You tell you how much they've been on TV. I did.
I saw they're on a clip on the WWE YouTube channel. I didn't watch it yet of them playing darts with professional darts players. I was like, this could be entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they might be the next Ricochets. Entertain me. That's all you're doing. All right. So those are our Mount Rushmores. And we'll go ahead into the bads of the week, the mushes. Back around the horn, Chris. What's your mush this week?
Same show, coming off of Against All Odds. Something that's been building for me for a few weeks, and I'm over it. I do not need the PCO Steph DeLando romance angle. It's like every segment has been bad with it. And it's like we've had this like Beauty and the Beast type gimmick in the past. It doesn't it makes no sense. And last night it was just like we put this match on just to get this segment. Like it's a waste of time to me.
It's the Wish version of Kane and Lita.
Yeah.
Like you thought you ordered Kane and Lita, but you got PCO and DeLander. Even though I love her,
she deserves better than this.
Yeah, her with Cardona and what they were doing. Like it sucks that he got injured because they were really starting to take off. But yeah, no, this ain't working.
Like I'm sure the payoff's gonna be. I don't know how long Matt's out for with this injury. You know, I know like he's doing his GM thing down GCW and everything while he's injured right now, which is cool. But it's like I'm sure the payoff's gonna be he's gonna come back healed, and then they're gonna turn on PCO. But I just don't need this in the meantime.
Go backstage, start a group or something. PCO.
She's too talented to be doing this. Like, there's plenty of women she can be having feuds with in TNA, instead of being PCO's love interest.
Yeah,
and let her shine on her own instead of being somebody's second.
Exactly. It's like she just had a match with Jordan. So it's just like, okay, build her up now. Just put her in good matches and showcase her, and then maybe work herself back up to Bound for Glory or something.
Yeah.
Well, Jason?
My mush is the barbecue segment on NXT. Trick and Cody. I don't know why Cody was out there. I was expecting an announcement or something. I don't know why Trick came out in high heel boots. And his babyface promos are just the worst now.
Yes, they are.
Ratings. They wanted to beat Dynamite, which they did successfully.
You could announce the Dusty Cup or something. Women's Dusty Cup.
So Trick inviting Cody to the cookout, for all of everybody that's in the know knows what exactly that means.
Yeah.
The only person that didn't know was Brian Alvarez, because he talked about it the next day. Like, and well, they must have like an actual cookout outside the PC for the fans, and now Cody showed up to the cookout. And I'm like, you turn your mic off and go away. Out of the
the WPS.
Like we know why Cody got invited to the cookout.
The cookout is something you keep off. The cookout is for Twitter. The cookout is for
it's
social media.
It is.
You don't bring that to TV. You don't.
No. yeah. But I agree with you. Trick stuff. Since he's been champ, it's been bad. Yeah, I mean, it's really been bad. And I know, like, a couple months ago, I was hyping him up, like, man, this is the best thing on NXT and all that stuff. Now I regret even saying that.
Well, that's the face dilemma, right? Like, you have the babyface chasing the champ. The babyface gets over during the chase. You put the belt on him. Then what? It was the biggest fear with Cody, right? Like the 2-year-long run with Roman, Cody's over as shit. You defeat Roman after a 4-year reign. Then what? And Trick doesn't have the other tools to be able to overcome the then what right now. And it's like a glaring focus as far as just how green he is in certain areas to where it's not working.
Which is why I think last week we all discussed talking about putting the belt on Paige just to shake things up a bit.
Now the 25-man battle royal for Trick's next contender, apparently those participants are already selected. And you'll have supposedly some main roster surprises, some TNA surprises, and then obviously NXT roster guys. So that could be cool. Cody was there just to pop a rating, and he was there delivering gifts. We saw him give JC Jane the dashing mask, which that popped me. I enjoyed that. That was besides the Spider-Man AEW meme and Cody saying, you guys are all in a better place.
Title of the show.
I would. The dashing mask for JC was fantastic. So,
Steve,
but that also piggybacks on the fact that Trick's not enough right now, right? Because if Trick is successful and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, I don't necessarily think that they bring Cody in for that spot, right? Like, so
could you even say a sexy red?
That
I don't need to see that again.
I don't see it either, but I'm saying, like,
that was gonna be possibly up there on my mush. Was her on the pay-per-view.
Oh, God.
But she brings in the ratings. That's I don't know why, but she brings in the ratings.
Yeah. My mush this week is from the realm of AEW. The Young Bucks coming out to Swerve's promo and announcing blood and guts. And just saying blood and gut. But there's no announcement for the match. There's no feud build up for the match. Everybody that you were feuding with is injured from Anarchy and Arena or before, so there's none of those guys are going to be in it. You have 4. Potentially Hangman's going to come back and align with the Elite and continue his heel stuff as the 5th. We know that Swerve is going to be in the match because a la he was in the segment. So we need 4 people to surround him with. I don't like my heavyweight champion just thrown into a feud that's going to be a month long for a match that just got announced today on social media on when they're holding it. And they're holding it on a Wednesday night Dynamite in Nashville. Like, why? If you don't have the feud for Blood and Guts, don't do Blood and Guts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had the payoff with Anarchy in the arena. That's it.
That's enough.
DJ Wavy D in the house. Yeah, everybody's potentially re-signed. Like we said earlier before you hopped on, DJ, if it ain't on TV when it comes to the contract stuff, we're not paying attention to it now
because everybody has a source.
Yeah,
everybody has a source. Everybody knows to know. Everybody's in on everything. So
we'll see what happens at the castle today.
Yeah, but why? Like, why are you announcing Blood and Guts? There's no point for it. None. And you're doing it on Dynamite. Why?
They always do it on Dynamite.
Everything's on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Everything.
Just doing it to do it. That's
because they want the
for
ratings.
what you just said with Cody to pop a rating.
They want the ratings. Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, and my mush is from the land of AEW also too. Roosh and MJF, mainly on the MJF side. Like you come back, Adam Cole, the United Kingdom, or the Undisputed Kingdom, and all of them. And Joe was the ones who betrayed you. Why are you entering the feud with Roosh? I know it's probably to help him get back from his injuries, but if my friend betrayed me, I would be going after Joe. I would be going after that team that cost me my title. I'm not entering a feud with somebody else.
Didn't he pay Roosh to do something?
He did
a while back. I forget what the storyline was. But
yeah, no, he paid. He paid. Yeah,
good memory.
Yeah, no, he did. He definitely did, and I think that was. And MJF even mentioned that in the first promo when Roosh walked out on stage the first night back last week. Whenever he said that, I respect you. Remember, I gave you a bunch of money to do some stuff for me, like. So yeah, it's there. The way that your landscape is set up right now, I get what you're saying, Donald, as far as you want your comeback, but Cole's still out injured, so you can't, like, you don't have that payoff, and him just running through the other minions in the stable means nothing, right? Like nothing. The only one would be Wardlow, and Wardlow is colder than me swimming in the Antarctic Ocean right now, like. So there's no reason to bring him back there. I don't mind the Roosh. It's different. I think it's a way to elevate Roosh. And I think, like, the match itself, I'm kind of mad that it's on again, it's on Dynamite.
It's on Dynamite. After they brawled.
Whenever you're building up a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's like after they brawled, they got Tony Khan just told me in the ear that they will be fighting during the commercial-free hour of Dynamite. Like, there we go with those AEW announcements.
So then what are we going to do? Is this match going to build up something then on Wednesday so MJF has a match at the pay-per-view? Because you can't imagine him not being on that card in Long Island.
He'll cut a promo on Long Island. I don't think he'll be wrestling. Maybe MJF joins AEW, Team AEW. I don't know. Like, like for as many things as they did right on Wednesday night, like I said, the Ospreay Phoenix match was great. The confrontation with Swerve, I enjoyed. Mercedes and Zuxi's match was tremendous. Zuxi is a freaking powerhouse, and I want more of her on my TV. Like, I absolutely enjoyed her work. So like there was good stuff that was done. Joe Hook with Shibata with the camera, and like I'm all for that trios team. Like, hilarious stuff. But then there's just it's so many opposite ends of the spectrum. Either what you see in AEW is really good, or what you see in AEW is really bad, and it doesn't make sense. It's one or the other. There's nothing that's in that consistent range right now.
It's true, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a WCW problem.
Yep.
Yeah, like I mean, even the freaking learning tree segment with Jericho, like
that got fast forward through. That did.
It
Redwood Bill.
Private Party outsmarting them and getting the drop on Jericho based on what Jericho said makes sense for the character and all that, but it took way too long to get there. And it was just like, come on, like you have the opportunity, you have the moment. You don't need Jericho running down Iowa corn farmers just to get a cheap heat pop. And then when Private Party comes out, you're lecturing and everything else, and you're taking too long. Like that segment could have been cut down by a couple of minutes, and you still would have got the same result, but it probably would have been better received because you shaved time off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you put that segment on right after the Mercedes match, and you killed all the momentum of the show.
When you need to let shit breathe, no, that's jamming another long ass segment.
Yeah,
right.
And Jericho of all people too. Yeah.
So yeah, like it's just I mean,
every week.
And like I think I'm gonna I think I come to the realization after Wednesday that, and we talked about this before on the show as far as like how to view AEW, right? Like you can't compare AEW to WWE. You just can't.
No.
It's apples to oranges. It makes no sense. You're not gonna be able to draw the parallels that you need to draw parallels to in order for the comparisons to make sense and work. So just watching AEW in the vacuum of what AEW is in the context of wrestling matches and putting on matches, and you'll get occasional storylines sprinkled in that'll make sense. You'll have a few characters that are absolutely tremendous, like, but not everybody on the show is going to have character work, and stuff will be paid off 6 months after it was started. It's just too much opposite end of the spectrums with them. They need more stuff that's consistent. You can have your really bad stuff and your really good stuff, but you got to have some stuff that is just consistent week in and week out, and they don't have that right now.
Mm-hmm. And, all right, so those were Mount Rushmores and mushes for the week. So let's get into Clash of the Castle predictions.
5 matches.
5 matches, nothing on a pre-show.
Love the Triple H formula, baby.
We'll start with the Women's Tag Team Championship. Bianca and Jade versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
I don't necessarily need this match. I'm glad that it's on just because you're getting the women's tag match on, and Bianca and Jade are stars. They're not dropping the belt. It's too early. Alba and Isla, one of them two is taking the pin, and we'll have the champs retain.
Champs retaining.
Though I need more Alba and I need more Isla Dawn on my TV, but champs retain.
I've been telling y'all.
All right, we'll see what happens in this match. You got Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable.
Gable got to win, right?
Gable got to win.
Gable. Got to be Gable, and then the Otis turn is going to be Gable's first feud. Like that. That's where we have to go. You can give me Otis and Gable at Money in the Bank. You can give me Otis and Gable if they want to carry it out and drag it out to SummerSlam. Okay, like, but that got to be the direction that you go.
Yeah, it's like if Gable doesn't win this, then that has to be the proof that he's leaving. But like, it has to be Gable winning this tonight.
Short title reign for Sammy does not affect Sammy at all.
No, not at all. Yeah. Gable for the win.
Gable.
And the Otis turn on Gable, it's going to get a pop regardless because of the way that they've been building it. But if Gable has the belt, it'll feel bigger than if Gable loses and Otis just turns on him because he's finally fed up and had enough. I need Gable to have the belt for that turn to like feel special.
All right. Up next, the I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship: Cody versus AJ.
I'm surprised we're getting both champions on the show, but I get it. Cody's Cody, so he's the most over babyface right now in the company. They're going to have him on pretty much every show that he wants to work, which according to him, he wants to work all of them. So I'm fine with this match. I'm fine with them running it back. They did a good job of getting me to circle the wagons and jump back on board for the feud itself. The fake out retirement. I talked about the confrontation last night with it, probably AJ's best promo. I just wish, the outcome wasn't as predictable as it is, and Cody's retaining. So
Cody retained.
Time and stipulation just gave away the outcome. Like if this was SummerSlam, this would be a different story for me. I'd pick AJ if this was SummerSlam. No.
You think there could have been a chance, a 50-50 shot at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris?
How can you not put Cody over this match? As much as I would love to see AJ as champion again at some point, I enjoyed the last match. I'll enjoy this one, but like you said, it's a predictable ending if Cody retains.
And for all you stooges out there on the internet, the IWC that have been complaining since this stipulation was announced that Cody and AJ are not submission wrestlers. An I Quit match doesn't mean that you have to win it using a submission. Have you not watched an I Quit match before? Mm-hmm. Like we've had plenty of I Quit matches that don't involve submissions.
Technically, an I Quit match, you don't even have to say it.
That's Rocket Mankind. The PA system. I quit.
Cody said I quit last night during that promo. I was just like, oh, there's the soundbite.
Babe, you got somebody attacking Mama Rhodes?
No. The only person to attack Mama Rhodes is the final boss. That's it.
All right, up next, we got the Women's Championship. Bayley versus Piper Niven.
The pop for Piper would be tremendous. This match is going to be difficult to watch in the sense that, like, your face heel dynamic is going to be flipped upside down because the crowd is going to be so behind Piper. Like, so behind Piper. So I'll be interested to see. The crowd
was into Bayley last night, though, too.
Yeah, but, I mean,
I think they're going to be behind Piper, but I think you're going to get that kind of like the Cody AJ in France. Yeah. I think you're going to get a little bit of both for them.
You'll get the Bayley song every now and then, so it'll be 50-50.
Yeah. I just like I'm just curious to see how they actually put on the match itself. I'm glad Piper's getting this moment to shine. I brought that up last week or 2 weeks ago whenever I had her on my Mount Rushmore. Right spot, right time, good match. I think they'll absolutely tear the house down. And shout out to Bayley's stylist the last 2 days because ain't missed yet.
Whoever they had the week she got attacked with, she had the gray jumpsuit. I'm like, you just ruined the moment for me. Like she came out 2 steps on the ramp and got attacked in that gray outfit. I'm like, come on. Couldn't even walk past the camera. Come on, man.
Bayley.
Bayley.
And finally, the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
This one, to me, is the one that's the most 50-50 on the show itself as to who's going to win. Like, I can make an argument for both men.
Yeah.
I really can.
You can.
CM Punk allegedly has been spotted in Scotland, So does he cost Drew the title again? You know, allegedly Joe or what's his name? Joe Hendry is gonna make a pop-up appearance in Scotland today.
He's on the billboards all over there.
Yeah. I just think like, yo, if you have Drew losing Scotland after they just got their asses whipped by Germany in the Euros last night, 5-1, that country's gonna riot. Like you can't like CM Punk might not be able to get back on a plane to fly back to the States if he goes out there and costs Drew that title. That crowd is going to be so over for Drew. It's a hard spot to not put the belt on him. But man, I'm not necessarily ready for Priest to drop it either. Like, no. I don't think Priest has gotten everything out of this run that he can for them to drop it. It's just we got Priest.
It's tough. It is tough because I like Priest as a champ. I do. I think he's doing a good job right now with the title.
Serviceable.
Mm-hmm. But I have to go with Drew.
Yeah, I'll say Drew. The moment, like he got his WrestleMania moment back in front of fans, but that was for 5 minutes and 42 seconds.
Taquan don't let nobody in the comment section. Nobody live. He nobody live.
Yeah, I got Drew.
Who would you say, Jason?
Drew.
Got Drew. I keep going back and forth too. It's just like, where are they going with this at SummerSlam? Is it going to be Drew and Punk at SummerSlam? Because you already know you got Gunther getting the title shot. I'd much rather see Gunther versus Drew, I think, for a match than Gunther versus Damian. But
yeah,
if we're going to get the Drew Punk match, then I don't know.
It's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen at some point.
Drew Punk doesn't need the title.
No, it don't. Not now.
No, and it wouldn't. Yeah, then you would make it, a triple threat. So
he brought that up, changes my has me contemplating.
Yeah,
that's why I said it's the most.
I think Punk interference and Damian retains.
50 Punk interferes, and I'm telling you, Scotland's gonna burn out.
I mean, I can definitely see Drew winning. You know, since he didn't win the last time. But
did he sign?
He signed.
Did
he signed?
Then all bets are off.
So you got Drew.
All bets are off. You done? You ain't winning.
You got Drew.
WWE.
You got Drew losing to Roman at the first Clash with the debut of Solo, and now you got Drew losing to Damian actually in Scotland with a run-in by Punk.
It just feuds that storyline more than anything. Because, like you said, their storyline doesn't need the belt, so it just continues that storyline and adds fuel to the fire.
With Drew's face on both posters. You ain't winning shit. You forgot this is WWE. You come to your hometown, you losing. Ask everybody.
Yeah. Ask Bailey.
Go down the whole roster.
Piper and Drew losing? Man,
I'm gotta change hands.
I think Gable
got a battle on the belts.
Gable's probably the one that's sitting in pole position to actually
win something
with a title. It's a new champ after this show.
If nobody wins the title, battle the belts. Coming up.
I will say the crowd, based on the kickoff show response that they got singing Triple H's theme song SmackDown last night, I can't wait. I got stuff to do, so I can't watch it live. I'm gonna go back and watch it later, but I can't wait to just hear that crowd and feel those reactions, because everything that's been outside of the US from a crowd perspective has been arguably up there on my Mount Rushmore moments of the year. So this is gonna be, to me, no different. I'm expecting them to show up and show out, because that France crowd, boy, whoo, chills. I still get chills seeing the clip of AJ in the ring with it shaking. Like,
Do we get a Tyson Fury scene?
No. Not after Fury got knocked out. No.
I'm gonna whoop your ass and I'm gonna serenade you then.
What's the match of the night? What you got match of the night?
I'm hoping Gable Sammy.
I'll give Drew and Damian.
Yeah, give me Drew Priest.
I'll go Bailey Piper. I'll go with the women.
All right. So there goes our Clash predictions. So it's time for game time. Chris, load it up. All right, so since NXT is in the news the past couple weeks, I came up with my list of the 5 best NXT storylines. I have the Rise of Bayley 1, Ciampa Gargano 2, the Reign of the Empress of Tomorrow Asuka 3, Shock the System, Rise of the Undisputed Era 4, and Neville Sammy 5.
Now, is this your top 5 in order, or just you picked 5 storylines that you?
No, this is my top 5 in order.
Okay, so we're debating your order of these these 5.
Yes,
or anything else that should
or
be
if
on
anything else
instead.
that you think should be on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And right outside of my top 5, number 6 was Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
Okay.
I'd have to put that on the list because I miss Sammy and Neville. I wasn't there watching in that era. I came in a little late.
See, the Sammy Neville feud, for as good as it was, for me, the thing that I remember most about that is the exclamation point that KO put on it with taking Sammy out after the match, and going into the KO Sammy feud. Now, we didn't get the proper KO Sammy feud because Sammy got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That we would have got, or else I think that would be on this list.
It would have been, yes,
for sure. Like, I would move Asuka over. I wouldn't have her at 3. I'd bump her to 5 out of these 5 that are listed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd move Undisputed Era over to 4. That Gargano Ciampa, man, it was so good. But again, when the turn happened, Ciampa was out injured. He tore up his leg and everything else. Out for how long? But when he came back with no music, it was the Black Heart. Like,
yes,
oh boy.
And they just continued that one after another with it.
And I think I said last week that was the last time like NXT had a true heel champion. Was that?
I think I'm cool with Bayley staying at 1. Just based off of everything, the culmination of her and Sasha's match at Brooklyn, the Iron Women match that they had, you know, that was
her run was unbelievable during that time.
Yeah. Some incredible matches.
Mm-hmm.
And like her run fed into the start of Asuka's reign, right? So like, it was just, that
was a reign.
I'll stick with Bayley here. I mean, you don't even have like Shayna's run isn't on here.
I think I had I put Asuka's above Shayna's because everybody was like, who's really going to beat Asuka? Who's going to beat Asuka every week? Is there somebody who could contend with her? And actually, Shayna did lose to Kyrie, so that's where I hang that on.
You know what? And this is going to get me a lot of heat. People are going to be mad that I'm even saying this, especially with these 5. Toxic Attraction's run needs more respect put on it.
Definitely.
Gigi and JC as champs, Mandy as the women's champ. What they did in that time frame, like, say what you will for Mandy and all the dirt piling on that they used to give her, but I thought she had some of her best matches, and character-wise, all 3 of them absolutely hit it out the park. Like,
that was the best run of Mandy's career.
That matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it more and talking about it more, I think I might actually put that in my top 5 and bump one of these off the list completely.
And that was 2.0.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the one to watch.
Yeah. I didn't watch 2.0 at the beginning, so I missed a lot of that.
Hey, when JC came out on Tuesday, I was like, okay, she was talking about toxic attraction. I was like, is Mandy stepping through?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that toxic attraction definitely got to get up there. Yeah. I mean, Trick's rise, that's good. But again, to me, that hit how many speed bumps because they dragged it out with the reveal of who actually took him out. Like we were waiting. We called that how long before they actually revealed it, and I think that took kind of the steam off it. Him winning, you could say him winning is like one of the best title wins of NXT, or like most celebrated is not the right word, but like most feel good title win. You know, like one of the ones that you wanted to see the champ win. But yeah, toxic attraction definitely needs to be in this discussion for top 5 storylines and what they did. They were the women's version of Shock the System.
I'll keep your 1, 2, 3. I'll put Toxic at 4, and then I'll put Rhea and Raquel at 5. Shock the System was good, but it just wasn't my cup of tea.
I mean, I like Donald's list here because this is stuff maybe other than Neville Sammy that went on that multiple years.
Yeah.
With all this, you know, Neville Sammy I think was culmination of maybe within a year feud. You know, 2014 there, but everything else, you know, even though it might have been stopping and starting again, was long-term NXT storytelling.
And 4 out of the 5, not counting Neville and Sammy, was the quote-unquote golden era of NXT. And like one flowed into the other throughout different points in time in all those storylines, right? You had like all those people there.
I mean, Neville, Sammy, and Bailey, they all started in the takeover era, you know, with the network, like, or a little bit before. And yeah, we're all through the golden era. Lots of great moments during any of these, though.
You know, like looking at the rise of Bailey, like we could have a debate this. I don't know who the 4th would be, and you could throw Charlotte in there if you wanted to, but like out of the 4 horsewomen, who had the best career like revolution from where they started to where they're at now? Who's grown the most? Because you look at Becky, she came out freaking line dancing like Michael Flatley to Irish Jig.
Oh man, that was awful.
And now she's the man, right? You had Bailey, who was the hugger and kids loved her, and then she went to the role model that was bad and nobody liked her, ding dong hello, and now she's back on top again. Like, see what she's done. Sasha, somebody that was, you know, maybe couldn't even cut it on the microphone, to developing the boss character from the boss to now she's the CEO, like, and everything in between that she did. Charlotte was always the queen, quote unquote. So I think, you know, besides leaning more into the heel side of things, but like
I'd put her in. It depends on how you break. You're talking character.
Yeah, strictly character evolution, like from their start in NXT to where they're at now. We don't have to go into it. I was just thinking of like,
yeah, that could be a good one.
Because they've all, besides Charlotte, like I said, the other 3 have had multiple character changes that evolved over time. Yeah, like
when you said evolution, I was thinking like Charlotte. I was thinking Charlotte because, you know, you go from not being a wrestler to one of the greatest. But if we're talking,
not in that sense, but like personality, character wise, etc.
Character, I'd go. I put Bailey 1. Becky too. I feel like Sasha never really changed character. She was just heel and face throughout.
DJ, in regards to this here, I would say takeovers were definitely above pay-per-views back then. I watched every single takeover and didn't even turn on pay-per-views, even though they were free on the network. The week to week wasn't bad, but the week to week was only an hour.
Yeah, it was quick.
So, that's why I liked it.
Yeah, you got in, you got out. You had a match or two. You had a couple storylines develop and that, but they kept it simple, short, sweet. Occasionally, you would get your longer format match, a la like when Becky and Sasha had their Iron Woman match that made it a big deal. But yeah, that golden era NXT, I put that up against any run from any company. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that 1 hour format was great. It was, and it was so fulfilling too, because you wasn't crashing everything together. Everything was breathing at that point.
And the point of it made you want more the next week, or made you want that takeover match. It's just like where so much wrestling doesn't do that now. It's just like, is there so much time, and they're trying to, like you said, Don, cram everything together every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
if you didn't watch NXT in that time, DJ, I definitely recommend going back and watching on Peacock and watching some of those takeovers, because
some of those SummerSlam takeovers,
SummerSlam, that they kind of considered that like their WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, like, I know there were takeovers before this, but the one that really got me and had me every single week watching NXT was Our Evolution.
Same
with
here.
the Sammy and Neville, the debut of KO, the turn, like that was the one. From then on, I was every takeover and every single week Wednesday night I was in NXT.
Yeah.
That Wednesday night lineup of NXT and Lucha Underground for me was probably the best 2-hour block of wrestling. I'll put those 2 hours up against any 2-hour block that's on TV now from an entertaining standpoint.
Yeah,
I think that did help a little bit, but it wasn't necessarily taped to not have commercials either. Like, because whenever they first started, they were just strictly in Florida on TV. So it's like they had their commercials built into it, and it had the same type of flow that it did even on the network.
Yeah. Good debate this, though, for NXT.
All right. Anything else from you guys?
You mean like quick hitter wise?
Yeah, quick hitter wise. Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I got left, it looks like there could potentially be an announcement made tomorrow between Pro Wrestling Noah and WWE. That's a rumor going on right now. So,
not only Pro Wrestling Noah, but EO is announced for Rosie's new promotion, Marigold.
Yeah.
Yep. They're working with TNA, so like that prohibited portal, I'm telling you, they're getting there. I did bring up last week how TNA was supposedly didn't have anything booked after August 2nd and 3rd. Well, that's not true. So again, your favorite third sheet writer was incorrect. They put out a list of stuff called the Total Nonstop Summer, so they got stuff booked out all the way through the middle of September now, with dates and cities announced. So Chicago, Philly, Montreal, Tampa, Louisville, Cleveland is their next stops based on their breakouts. Against All Odds was sold out last night, so kudos to TNA for that.
I saw a thing that looked like about 100 people had standing room only tickets, so good for them.
We talked about NXT actually beating AEW in the ratings, so they finally got what they wanted there.
We need to stop this, because it's, if you don't care about ratings, don't care about ratings, but then don't sit there and say we're trying to beat another company.
Very true. 100%.
I don't want to hear this bullshit anymore.
The only other thing I had was take it with a grain of salt because everybody's a source or knows somebody in Titan Towers. But they said WWE officials aren't happy with the few months of Cody being champion. They said ratings and some merch numbers are not satisfactory.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe that either.
Especially after you're coming off of Mania and he was the highest merch seller. It's like I can't believe that they're not happy with the merch right now.
Cody's out there crowd surfing in the fans, and you're not happy with the product.
because you know why? It's not Roman.
But I mean,
then they said that they went to the people that are in Scotland right now for the event, are saying how quick things are selling out in that store. So it's like,
look, here's summertime is always a dead period. It's a downtime. There's how many things going on? There's nice weather. There's cookouts. There's graduation parties. Yeah. There's NBA finals. There's NBA finals, NHL finals. You got baseball game. You got street fair. You have so much stuff to contend with in the summertime. I'm just glad that I'm in the middle of June and I'm still getting compelling television from WWE. Mm-hmm. Normally, Mania would happen. I wouldn't get reinvested until 2 or 3 weeks before SummerSlam.
You just get a bunch of rematches till SummerSlam.
Yeah, last night's SmackDown for me, it had its moments, but from an overall show beginning to end, I didn't particularly like last night's show. Especially the main event. You have guys involved that aren't even on the pay-per-view, but it's the go-home show before the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So,
but I do like how they're doing this now, where the SmackDown's tied in with the event instead of pre-taping SmackDown, and then.
Well, you know who you can thank for that?
Triple H.
Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was the first one that did it, and they saw how lit that was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Immediately, let's pivot. Just run SmackDown.
Do this all the time. Yep. Yeah. All the time.
Because they were doing that even for Saudi shows, where they were just going pre-taping, then going to Saudi. It's just then this last trip, they did the show from Saudi, and that was cool.
Then it gets you a little hype, seeing how the crowd is, and you're like, okay, I expect people higher.
And you can gauge it. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Puerto Rico. Right. I don't got anything else.
Nothing else.
I'm good.
All right. So thank you, everybody. That was episode 192 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Hit us up on all of our socials, Dumb Marks Pod, Pro Wrestling Tees at Dumb Marks Pod, and also Spotify. And our quote for this week comes from another anime one, Jujutsu Kaisen from Megami Fuchidora. I hate bad people.
He said, he ordered something.
Megami Fuchigora.
You definitely pronounced that wrong. There's no way you got that pronunciation.
You said Mega Man Futurama? What the fuck?
Yeah. That's right. Okay, so we got anime experts on here. My next one got to go. Thank you, guys. So the quote of the week is, I hate bad people, and I also hate good people because the good people always forgive the bad people. And with that, I am going to part you out with the old EA Sports saying on South Park, get the fuck out of my building.